I wanted to talk about a basic toolkit that you would need for your cross stitch or your embroidery. If you're a beginner, you're going to want to know what all you need. Sometimes cross stitch patterns come in a little kit, and the kit will have everything but maybe the scissors. And but it'll have your thread and your pattern and your Aida cloth. That's AIDA. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But it'll have everything you need with your basic colors and the pattern and things like that. But this is the kit that I suggest before you start a project in stitching, in cross stitch, counted cross stitch, or embroidery. So you're going to need a hoop. Now, some people don't like working with hoops. I usually don't, especially if the pattern's small. I'm going to do something on this one, and obviously it wouldn't need a hoop. But you're going to need a hoop. They come in all kinds of, they have freestand ones, they have these wood ones. I got these on Amazon, and I will link everything below where I got everything. They have plastic ones, so all kinds of hoops. It's just all a matter of your preference. And then you're going to need, I like to tape my edges down, otherwise they fray. See, it was fraying underneath here, but this will keep it from fraying. Masking tape, just do your edges with tape, and I just fold it over. And let's see, so you're going to need some scissors. I just have any small scissor, any scissors will do. I like the small ones because they're light and you can hurry up and just grab them and stitch. And again, I will have these links below. Not of these are like little medical bandage scissors that I just had. But you've all seen the stork looking ones, so which are another one of my favorites. And you're going to need a good needle. Now, I use a blunt needle, and what that means is this tip, that doesn't hurt to poke because it's more rounded off instead of sharp. So I like that if you don't like poking yourself all the time, if you don't use a thimble. This is a suggestion. Size isn't, it's really, they call them embroidery needles or they call them tapestry needles. It really depends on what you like. So you're going to need, a variety of needles, and just kind of find out what you like. You may like the sharper ones rather than the blunt tip, so sharp on the end. I like a wider eye hook, so I can thread my needle easier, but again, that depends. If your holes are real tiny, you may want a more narrow eye. Again, it's all about preference. There is no rhyme, reason, perfect, whatever. This is just what I use and what I suggest. I've been stitching for 45 years, a little over 45 years, so that has been my experience. And then you're going to need some thread. Now, I like the DMC thread. This just came in a kit. I got this because of the colors. I like the muted colors, and this right here isn't, as you can see, it's not DMC thread. It's just a regular, some off-brand, okay? But if it's DMC, you will see it on here. It'll be written there. And I don't have any right now that I could show you because I keep all of mine in a kit. And this is something else you may want to consider. You can get these anywhere. You can get these at Dollar Tree. And and you can also get these little cards at Dollar Tree. They're little plastic cards that you can wrap your threads on. And I always put the number, because most of the time the patterns are going to call for a number. So it may say like this, say this pot, it'll say DMC 640, and use that. And then you would know that this is what you need to use. And then I just keep these in numerical order, real simple. So see, I just keep them in numerical order, and I've got several of these. I just brought one out. So this is a good idea. Now, if you have something like this that doesn't really necessarily have a number, and you're just going on shades of what you like, colors that you like, you can wrap them around craft sticks like this. See, I don't even have them labeled. I just know that, oh, hey, you know, I like this color here, or this will go, or whatever. So you can do that. That makes it easy. If you have clothespins, I like to wrap them in on old clothespins, and that makes them really easy to carry around with me that way. So there's all kinds of things, tools you can use to keep your threads organized. I really recommend something like this for your DMC threads because they have a billion colors. Not really, but it feels like a billion colors. They have a lot, and I've got, I think, 4 or 5 of these totes that I keep my DMC threads in. These, again, these aren't numbered. I will, like these I haven't even gotten out yet and wrapped them on anything. I'm a very neutral girl, so these are the main ones that I go to, and so I just have these wrapped around either craft sticks or clothespins, just whatever I have available. So that is your basic toolkit, and let's talk real quick about your Aida cloth. Now, Aida cloth you can get, like I said, I've got a link. I get everything mostly from Amazon, but Aida cloth comes in all kinds of different width, sizes, hole per square inch, everything. So what you need to remember is the higher the number, say it's 22 count Aida cloth, that means it's 22 little tiny boxes that fit inside a square inch, okay? This is 14. I don't know if you can see that, but this is 14. And this is 22. This is kind of harder to see because it's got all those little different colors in the cloth, but you can get an idea of how much smaller it is. Wait, this is 18. This is 18. So you can have 22, 18, 14, 12. It's basically up to you. So, and how good you can see. So anyway, so that is there. And again, I will link all this. It really depends. Now your pattern may say stitched on Aida 22 count or whatever. All patterns have a different kind of way they say things, but it's super simple. Don't overthink this. There's no really right or wrong way. As you know, I've stitched I'm doing a series of tutorials for you, and they're all in my shorts, and it's in my playlist under embroidery and cross stitch. I can't think of the exact name of it, but it's all in there, and it tells you little simple tricks and things like that, and I'm working on that. I'm building that for you. So even the most advanced stitchers, there's some tips and tricks in there that you may not have thought of on your own. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you today, the basic tools. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Of course, you're going to need a pattern. Now, I make my own patterns. I'm going to stitch this. Now, obviously, my squares aren't this big, okay? So it's going to be this little knitting needles and yarn is going to be probably about that big, okay? Just from experience, I know about how big it's going to be. And I'll show you how to count and all that other stuff in these little shorts. But if it's a regular pattern, not one I made, it'll say DMC, and it'll say for this color, or this may be a symbol, use this thread, this 740. And for this symbol or this color, use this, and this back stitch, use this. So anyway, it's really simple. And that's all there is to it. And this is a good toolkit for embroidery, stitching, cross stitch, counted cross stitch, whatever. This is a great little system that I have, and this is what I keep with me everywhere. So anyway, have a good day, and follow me if you're not following me, and give me a thumbs up if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks. Bye-bye.